Hello there, this is DBT, and this is Art of Rooms. And alright, let's continue playing some more Asphalt 8. And today, as you can see on the title and in the thumbnail, we're gonna be doing Gauntlet with Bugatti Chiron. Plural. Yes, exclusively with Bugatti Chirons, except that there's not that many Bugatti Chirons, but there's a bunch. And there's other cars that are not Chirons, but they kinda are. Don't worry, we'll explain all of that. But before we jump into it, if you enjoy my content, please hit the like button on this video because it helps with the discoverability of the channel, and as well, you might as well subscribe, right? It's free, so go ahead. Now, if you would like to support me directly, please consider joining Dev Room membership. The information is over there by the join button. I would appreciate that very much. But alright, so what are we doing today? Like I said, it's Gauntlet with Chirons, but officially in the game, there's only 3 cars that are called Chirons. We can, real quick, filter by Bugatti, and we're gonna find them real quick. We have the Bugatti Chiron, then we also have the Bugatti Chiron Sport 110 ANS, and then there is another Chiron by name Bugatti Chiron Super Sport 300 Plus. Now you can really expect these cars to be very similar looking. Yeah, they have different liveries and whatnot. They also have some changes in the actual era of the car, the physical differences other than just the colors. In fact, I have some screenshots to show that. And you'll see in a second why I had to go with screenshots. First, we have the Bugatti Chiron. Now, as I switch to the next screenshot, you'll notice that the Bugatti Chiron 110, it's basically the same car. Now, actually, they are a little bit different in terms of the Sport 110 ANS, I believe, is slightly longer than this Chiron. It seems that it's a tiny bit lower, but you can see that they're basically the same car. The position of the exhaust is also different. But we also have the other Chiron, the Super Sport, and between these two, you can also see a tiny bit of difference, but it's mostly just the liveries. Actually, there's, for example, over here, you can see this little, I don't know what this is called, winglet or whatever. This thing is not present in this. So there's a difference here on the splitter and whatnot. So there are differences, but there you can see that if you look at the shape of the car, the whole thing, it's basically the same, right? Between these 3 cars. So that's why I say that there's 3 Chirons. However, there's other cars that are also Chirons, and that is because all the Bugattis that are not Veyrons are based on the Chiron platform. The Veyron was the platform for, what was it, like 2000 and some. Then they added this, they made the Chiron, and that became the platform for all subsequent special editions, including cars that are not called Chiron, but this is still built upon a Chiron. In fact, if you look at the general shape of the car, you will notice that it's still very, very similar. Now, there's massive differences here with the wing, the headlights, and whatnot. But the general shape of the car is basically the same. So that is why the Devo is another one of the cars that I'm going to be driving today. But from here onwards, it gets a little subjective because while all the next cars are also based on the Chiron, they don't look as much. For example, we have the La Voiture Noire. This is a much, what you call a shorter car, I suppose, lower to the ground compared to this. So it certainly doesn't look nearly as similar. And then, for example, the 110, now this one is taller, but even if you compare it against a general Chiron shape, it's still very different. So these are still Chirons, or at least Chiron based, but not quite there. And then there's the Bolide, which is a completely different thing, but that doesn't count. You know what car I wish I did have in the game, because it would work great with this team? The Bugatti Vision Gran Turismo. Yeah, I got this from an old YouTube video where I was testing this car, but the point that I want to show you is that this is another Chiron, straight up a Chiron. If we compare this to the regular Chiron, you will see that it's very, very similar. Yeah, it's a little lower to the ground, but that's because the entire car is lower to the ground. And so if we were to move this a little bit further down, it would look a lot like this. It's just with a ton of air and all of that. Man, I miss this car so much, but alas, we don't have it. Alright, enough of the theory, let's actually get into Gauntlet itself. The team that I have selected is the Chiron 300 Plus, the Chiron 110 ANS, the Chiron, the Devo, and then I put the La Voiture Noire just because I also like that car. So over here is where I would love to have my vision, but well, I don't have it, it's fine. Now you may notice a bit of a problem over here. We have a car of 1862, 1861, 1861, 1862, what is this? 1773, that's right, I never upgraded this thing, never. Will I upgrade it? You bet I will. How am I gonna upgrade it? With an ultimate upgrade. Now, why is that? Generally speaking, I do have a lot of direct upgrades, so I could upgrade them with that. But I like to do direct upgrades for cars that I can MP tune, so that I can make some videos and test them and all of that. This car could barely be tuned for the 1770. The base rank of this car is really high, and even if I quote-unquote tune it, it's not gonna be all that good because it's super close to its stock rank. So for this type of cars is what I don't mind using an ultimate upgrade, because I would rather save my direct upgrades to upgrade cars little by little when I'm MP tuning them. So, yeah, it's time to use another one of this and just be done with it. Now I have a Bugatti Chiron Sport 110 ANS fully upgraded. I really never cared for this car, but hey, one day I had to upgrade it, so might as well. So now we have my proper team. I'm gonna set up my defense. You can see that I have a defense already, but it's a very bad defense. I did it on boosted and without using any nitro, because I knew that I was gonna do a better time with a different team later, and that's what we're gonna do right now. So let me activate some boosters and let's try this. Now I put the cars in the order that I put them. Well, mostly because the 300 Plus is the best accelerator in the game, or one of the best accelerators in the game. But I did want to put all three Chirons one next to another so that you can at least see the differences of the cars from behind. Notice the position of the exhaust, because that is where you're going to be able to see some of those more obvious differences. But alright, that start was a little bit funky, but it's alright. Let's see. Again, I set up a terrible defense lap on purpose. Oh man, this is terrible. Jesus Christ. I set up a terrible defense lap for the sake of, you know, eventually improving it once I started recording. Look at the exhaust. Like I said, completely different exhaust position, even though this is the 110 ANS. Now it's gonna switch soon to the other Chiron. And again, different exhaust. You see what I was saying? They do look the same from the front, very similar. Not the same, but very, very similar. But yeah, there's some differences here and there in terms of the actual shape of the cars. And then, like I said, the Devo, this one, much more different. The general body of the car still looks Chiron-esque, but you can see that the taillights, a lot of details are different. All right, I did not like this defense lap. I think I'm gonna do another one, because this really wasn't all that great. But let's see, what was my time in here? 57 seconds, so I did 7 seconds less than my previous one. Yeah, all right, I'm gonna try again, because I'm not super satisfied with this one. And the funniest part is when I'm gonna realize that my second attempt is probably gonna be worse than the first. Just wait and see. I know myself. All right, let me try to focus here. All right, staying close to the wall. Not a great result, but hey, a tiny bit better so far. Ooh, that was a very high jump. How? All right, that was not great, but yeah, still much better than the previous one. So I'll take it. Alright, a couple of barrel rolls, because I was really struggling for nitro on that previous lap towards the end, so let's see if I can keep it together. I'm gonna go for perfect nitro here. And I'm gonna avoid the jump. Going on the inside, prepare for a punch drift. Good. Then I'm just gonna go on a straight line. It's still pending to know if the trick of the teleporter in this particular track it's considered a legal trick or not. So I'm not gonna do it. It's fine. All right. Well, yeah, definitely a better lap. Much better. The last one was 57. This reports as 104 because Gauntlet does this weird thing where it doesn't really count. It does count the previous lap, but it reports the one before that. You saw that I had gotten a 57 something with this team, but it's reporting the old lap time, whatever. Now my current lap time is 56,990, so go ahead and challenge it if you dare. Okay, I know a lot of people can beat me, but it's fine. I still want to see who beats me. So go ahead, beat my time. It's not all that difficult. I don't imagine that's a great lap by any means, but hey, if you want to challenge me proper, then don't do the trick and let's see, you know? All right, so now it's time to get my dice. I mean, continue doing my races, and I'm just gonna be challenging random people because that's how I do. I'm not even gonna pay too much attention to who it is that I'm challenging, nor which track they're gonna be doing or anything. I'm just gonna go for it. I was gonna say I'm gonna jump for it, and then I was gonna say go for it, and then I ended up saying Joe for it. So yes. All right, here we go. Yeah, this is one of the few times that you're gonna see me on this type of videos, starting with the Chiron 300 Plus. Yes, it's the Accelerator King, or one of the Accelerator Kings. I heard a lot that the VLF and the Fran Juventus Sorpasso can do also insane accelerations, like close to 300 plus. But people also say that those cars suck for other reasons, so hey, who knows? But yeah, so when I used to go competitive or try competitively in Gauntlet, because the rewards were at least somewhat worth it with the Gauntlet currency that allowed you to buy a bunch of fancy cars that were not available elsewhere. Yeah, I would definitely start with my Chiron 300 Plus, you know, and bring my best team that I could, and you know, all of that stuff. Nowadays, nah, those rewards are just so worthless. And I'm surprised how Gauntlet is like, yep, we just don't care. You wanted to have that fancy currency to buy in cars, now you get credits that are almost completely useless in the game. Enjoy, and you're welcome. Man, that's so bad. At least if they gave tokens, that would be more worth to try hard on in here. But hey, at least from time to time when I do these videos, I can try hard a little bit and hope for the best. Okay, 110, Bailey Blade, Devo, Valhalla, and SLS AMG Electric. Okay, that car was not even used. I'm like, what is that? That doesn't sound like a classics car. Oh yeah, because it's not. Okay. And as usual, I'm not gonna be, you know, quitting races or anything. If you beat me, you get my points. That's what we're doing. So again, not gonna select specifically anybody, just going randomly and hope for the best. I didn't even pay attention to anything about this race. We're just gonna do it. Now listen, I don't want to blame my skill issues or blame my skill issues onto anybody, but my cat is also in my lap, so it's a bit difficult to play comfortably. So if I do terrible, I'll blame it on my cat. Yes. All right. Well, then again, because my defense lap was so bad, a lot of people beat me, even though it was... Okay, so the reason why I set up a terrible defense lap to begin with, why didn't I... Oh, Jesus. Oh, man. All right, well, never mind. I was gonna say... All right, look, one idea at a time. I was gonna say, because my defense lap is so bad, a lot of people defeated me, so I was pushed all the way down to the bottom of this Gauntlet division, so the first few races are gonna be easy. And then I proceed to ring out, and now that guy is gonna defeat me. Well done, DBT. So yes, but what I was gonna say is the reason why I didn't wait to do my defense lap for the very first time with this team, and instead I did a terrible defense lap with another bunch of cars, is because I needed the dice. You know, the treasure rush is happening right now. It's for a Lambo, so I'm gonna be trying to get that Lambo in that way. So I won every dice, and I needed to do that. All right, I lost to Mr. Felipe. Congratulations. And Centenario Jesco Absolute won and Ultimate RS. Man, this must have been a bad lap to be so low. So seriously, this is super low in the leaderboard. But okay, you know what? It's okay. I still lost to him, so there's that. Just so that you have an idea, now we're barely here. We're position 258. So yeah, not exactly the best position out there, but it'll be fine. All right, apparently we're driving in Temple Drive, which I don't know exactly which version it is, but let's do it. I can never remember which version is which for a lot of tracks. I mentioned this a bunch of times, but I only really think I know like 5 tracks at most, like proper note. But I mean, there's some that are very easy, right? Like Tokyo and Tokyo Reverse, or Monaco and Monaco Reverse, things like that, right? That there's literally only one oh Jesus Christ, one version of the track. But when it's these tracks that do have a bunch of different versions and whatnot, man, I just don't know which is which. Only a few. I know, for example, from Orbital Loop, I know Astro Chase. That's it. I mean, I probably know a couple more, but yeah, not a lot. All right, I'm super far ahead of my opponent, so this is looking good. See, I'm confused as to even what Chiron am I at the moment, because they okay, it's the regular Chiron. I just saw it because of the color. But man, they're just so similar looking. So damn similar looking. It's fine. And speaking of Chiron, why don't we talk about the new Bugatti, the Bugatti Tourbillon? Before we get to that, though. All right, defeated Devo, Batista, 110, Chiron, and Bailey Blade. All right, there we go, getting some points. Thank you. All right, I want my third reward, please. Thank you. Now, again, not gonna pay attention. Who am I challenging? I'm just challenging. Ooh, Sector. Ooh, I'm worried about Sector 8. At the end, I'm gonna be driving what? The Devo. Okay, the Devo drift's okay, so maybe it'll work. But I don't know, I'm just a little worried about the end section or the last section of this track, because, you know, you need to do well with the drifts. And if there's one thing that you can rest assured is that DBT, when under pressure, performs well 50% of the time only. So there's a very, very big chance that it's gonna go bad, but we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, have you guys seen the Bugatti Tourbillon? And I thought of mentioning it because, for example, one thing that is very, very iconic of the Chiron is that little spine that it has in the engine cover, right? That it's not exactly a fin because it's not tall or anything, but that little line in the middle, you know which one I'm talking about? All right, let me go into a straight line and I'll show you with the mouse. Where's my mouse? Here's my mouse. This line right here in the middle, right? That line is the spine of the car, And the Bugatti Tourbillon, the new platform, like I said, there was the Veyron platform, then there was the Chiron platform, now there's the Tourbillon platform. Okay, I miscalculated. I'm using the Chiron instead of the Devo. Oh, there's the Devo. The Bugatti Tourbillon, which is the new platform, also has that same spine. In fact, the Tourbillon in many ways looks very similar to the Chiron, but it looks like a super fancy, roided out Chiron. I don't know how to feel about that, but there's that. All right, defeated a Racer Tech and Speed, Rimac Nevera, Saber Lightning, Dodge Dart. Oh, okay, yeah, these were Class A cars. So that makes some sense. Well, still he was way far ahead than other players that were using exclusive Class S cars, so kudos for him, I guess. And I want my reward number 4, please. Thank you. Ah, Jesus, with this bug. All right, now let's get to my last reward, because, yes. Yeah, whatever. Classified. I have no idea which version of the truck it is. I hope it's not the one that has no nitro at the end, because that's going to be pain. Actually, you know what? After this race, I'm going to show you the Tourbillon in case you haven't seen it, the new platform. It just really looks like a Chiron. What can I say? A very cool Chiron at that. I mean, you can really tell that the body is not the same, but it retains a lot of the language design of the Chiron, and to a certain extent that you could argue that's bad because it doesn't look radically different enough to be like, wow, it's, oh, Jesus. Well done, DBT, well done. One might say that the Tourbillon doesn't look, you know, radically different than the Chiron, so it doesn't quite feel like it's a new car. But I was saying that I can also understand wanting to have, you know, some similarities to previous cars, because that creates some sort of a design familiarity, in the same way that Lambos, at the very least in the sense of the general wedge shape of the Lambos, and nowadays with the motive, is that the word, motive? Where they use the Y shape in the taillights and the headlights and things like that. And that's very Lambo, right? So I can see also why Bugatti. Now Bugatti has always had the horseshoe grille at the front. That's always been the thing. This section right there. Pretty much all of the Bugattis have that. So, but now I think with the Tourbillon, they're trying to make it so that the car, in general, the new platform still has a bit of that Chiron DNA that I imagine they wanted to make it to be the familiar shape of Bugattis to come. I don't know, that's my speculation. Okay, there's my reward number 5. But yeah, let me show you what the Tourbillon looks like in case you have never seen it. This is it, this is the new Bugatti. And like I said, you can kind of see some heavy Chiron style to it. Obviously, the grille is much wider than before, but the headlight style is still very reminiscent of the regular Chiron. The general shape around here and all of that. So it does look like a Chiron. In fact, if we look at it from behind, here's the spine that I was talking about. Though, obviously, the taillights are very different. This is reminiscent of what of the Bugatti? I'm not sure. But yeah, you can definitely see some, what would I say, familiar shapes now to Bugatti, I suppose. And again, I think that's exactly what they were going for, to make it look like a Bugatti and people will be able to tell, oh, that's kind of like the Chiron. Maybe that's the new Chiron. What is it called? The Tourbillon? Tourbillon? What is that? And in case you don't know what Tourbillon means, I'll tell you. Well, I'll tell you what I know about it, because I don't know too much about it. It's basically a component of super high-end watches that does something about the rotation of the I don't know what and keeps it balanced with the I don't know who and whatnot, right? I know, amazing explanation. But yeah, it's a piece from watches, like I said, super high-end watches. So it's meant to, in theory, it's meant to symbolize the complexities and the advancement in technology for Bugatti and all of that stuff. So yeah, whatever. Still, cool looking car. I wonder if they're gonna add it in Asphalt. I would imagine that they will at some point. And you can rest assured that it's gonna be another very, very strong car of Class S, that they're gonna make available through Treasure Rush. They're gonna have to spend 150 bucks if you wanna get the car. If it even comes to this game, that is. Who knows? We'll see. There's a bunch of cars that we wish were already in the game that are not, can be found even in Asphalt 9, and yet they're not in this game. So, we can only hope for the best over here. Oh, look at that, another first place. I really wasn't paying attention this time. So it was a Faraday, Bayan, Batista. Okay, the 3 very strong electrics. Look at that. Frangivento Sorpasso and an MP431. All right. Frangivento Sorpasso, I understand, is a really good car. This car, and it's not fully, okay, it's not fully upgraded. Yeah, I know that in some scenarios the car can be amazing, but for the most part, oof. Now, from here onwards, I don't get any more rewards because I already got my 5 rewards over there. But I'm still gonna do one more race. I am, by the way, now, I have climbed all the way to position 87. So let's do one more race. Again, not particularly choosing anybody. Ooh, no. Okay. I'm gonna have to decline this one. Venice? It's a little bit twisty, and this team is not exactly great for twisty tracks, so let's not do that. Cloud 9. All right, apparently this time I am choosing which track I'm doing. Classified, Crystal Lake. Maybe I can do Crystal Lake. Azure Coast. I never know how to... Okay, this is the moment. Hold on. Every time that I get into this track, I said that I don't know how to pronounce that word, and I always say, I'm gonna check how you pronounce that. Okay, today is the day. The way you pronounce this is...
Azure Coast.
Azure. Like Azure. All right, Azure Coast. I've always mispronounced that. I know.